Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. Welcome to the program as we have Brian and Topo Gigio, Bronk, and new
do the Ed
arrival.
Sullivan introduction for Topo.
Well, now you know. Tonight on our show, the Italian mouse, Topo Gigio.
Thank you very much.
And wait, you're supposed to go, I love you, Eddie. If you're doing
love you.
I'm getting super echo over here.
You're getting echo.
I'm fine. Maybe it's me.
Why are you getting echo? I love doing that. Now, I don't know why you're getting an echoed signal, but hey, we also have Hammer Time on the program.
It's coming through somebody's.
But I'm not hearing it on my end at all. So that's a good thing. So let's jump into it, shall we? I mean,
if it's only a problem for Brian, it doesn't matter, does it?
Everything in today's world is either COVID or political, and we start out real quickly. I promise you it's going to be very quickly that Major League Baseball has moved the 2021 All-Star Game from Atlanta because of the Georgia voting laws that were enacted by the state of Georgia. So, you know, it's an interesting thing. The All-Star Game coming to Atlanta would have been a financial boon for Atlanta and for the state of Georgia. So to punish the governor for not only signing that legislation into place, but doing it with a plantation that was a slave plantation picture behind him. Major League Baseball felt the insensitivity was so great that they have moved this game. But the interesting question is, I understand how it works, but a lot of people who don't know anything about voting rights are going to have their business hurt because the All-Star Game is not going to be in Atlanta. Will that allow people to get the strength not to vote for Kemp? I don't know. But should it be? Let's start there with Hammer Time. Do you see this as a smart move by Major League Baseball?
Well, it's not the only people that are boycotting the state of Georgia. I want to say some big producer or something also, or director, was saying he would not be doing any of his filming in Georgia. And Georgia has a huge TV and film thing going on. A lot of it has to do with stuff Tyler Perry did to start off with that stuff. And then also you have from Steve Harvey as well. But I mean, there's tons of things. The Walking Dead is filmed there, and many parts of it are. So that's another thing that's doing
Cobra Kai's filmed there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's a huge place. It seems to be relatively inexpensive, kind of like Vancouver. So you know, you're going to see more of this probably, and these are the type of people who are there. It really sucks for the poor folks that really would be benefiting, especially after a year of just getting hammered of nothing. I mean, you know, one of the things that I was during St. Patrick's Day, a band, the Dropkick Murphys, okay, Irish punk band out of Boston. They put on their second quarantine show per se. Okay, so they did it over the air. They did one last year for St. Patrick's Day. Well, right before everything hit, I was in Boston that weekend and went to the bar that's owned by the lead singer of the Dropkick Murphys. It's called McGreevy's from the song. It's like right down the street from Fenway Park. It closed during the pandemic. So, you know, so the last time they did this thing a year ago, it was all for a benefit. This year, it's to try to get the guys to be able to pay their mortgages. So, yeah, it's the same thing that's going to happen in Atlanta. I know I went all over the place there, but that's really where it comes down to. Those poor folks who are already struggling are going to struggle more because of a political issue. It sucks.
Yeah, Bronk, any feelings?
Oh, I really know nothing. I've been living in a literal cave for the past couple of weeks, so
I get it.
I don't really have anything to add about it. So,
All right. Brian?
I generally agree with whatever Hammer says anyway, so I will second what Jim said.
Brian?
No, I think it's dumb, but they have to placate the minority in this case, and I mean minority of opinion.
Yeah, I don't know how
I seriously doubt that 90% of baseball fans give a flying fuck whether they hold the All-Star game in Atlanta over the voting thing or they don't.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really don't care that much about Major League Baseball. So
Exactly.
Well,
or
that's
the
kinda
All-Star
where I'm
game for
at,
that
too.
matter.
It'd be nice if we had a team still.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, it just seems to me that
It's the perfect 2021 swan song for the Indians.
you can cut off your nose to spite your face, and yes, the state of Georgia is going to be a loser on this because of the income that will be denied. But
remember the song "Never Go Back to Georgia"? By what was it?
Midnight
Dizzy
Train to
Gillespie.
Georgia.
Yeah.
No. Georgia on my mind.
The Blue Magoos. The Blue Magoos.
the Blues Magoos, I don't remember that.
Blues Magoos. Never go
I
back to
remember
Georgia.
the band. I don't remember the song.
I do remember that song, actually.
Never go back to Georgia, baby. Never go back. It was a Latin number. It was originally done by some Tito Puente or somebody like that.
All right, now let's move on to more happy things, shall we? Like the Browns draft talk that I've promised everybody.
Draft talk. Now that's good.
That's
bring
good.
Bring us Mike Junkin news.
Yeah, out of the Duke University football program.
Tommy Vardell. Come on. We want some Tommy Vardell.
Touchdown Tommy, because he couldn't
Clifford
run
Charlton.
1 yard. Yeah. There's a name that's popping out, a couple of names actually that are popping out. And of course, this is all pro day stuff. And, you can kind of file it away where you want to file it away. The Browns at 26, as Jadeveon Clowney's around and just becomes a non-entity in Cleveland, Gregory Rousseau's name is coming up more.
He's a philosopher, isn't he?
Gregory Rousseau. No, this guy was a wide receiver in high school, and they feel that his athleticism is something that might be significant as far.
Wow. Well, Barkevius Mingo's athleticism would seem to be significant. I mean, come on.
I'm not.
Come on, man.
I'm just telling you the names that are coming up. Guys who really performed well. Jalen Phillips, a 4.56 40 at his pro day. He's a defensive end. But again, speed does not equate to technique. Micah Parsons out of Penn State, linebacker.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I rate him.
He ran a blazing fast 40. So, this is what, you want linebacker who can cover the field. Now, I don't know what kind of intellect Micah Parsons has, but he opted
Well, he did go to Penn State, so your knowledge may vary.
Yeah, he opted out of the 2020 season. So
he's probably smarter than most then.
Yeah.
I worry when I hear about these fantastic pro day stuff, because I just think of a Tony Mandarich kind of guy, Yeah. I mean, it's a lot.
Tony.
It's a lot harder to kind of hide the roid use anymore. But I mean, still, it's like, okay, hey, he's got some great numbers, but can he put it all together?
Every year there's a guy who, and you remember the current wide receiver, Metcalf, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember
DK Metcalf? Yeah.
How he exploded at the combine, remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
he's also proved it in the pros too, though. So
yes, I mean, sometimes they're the real deal, sometimes they're not. A name that is now going to be one of your a real hype name is Jamin Davis out of Kentucky. He posted a 42-inch vertical jump and ran an unofficial, and I have to say that, 4.37 second 40-yard dash as a linebacker.
Wow.
So
it takes me longer than that to get out of bed.
Yeah, those numbers will seriously.
I could prove it to you right now, but you might see something you wouldn't want to know.
Nah.
Yeah.
But that
My
name is
God, man, make it stop.
Make it
and I'm not
stop.
sure that Kentucky realistically is a great football program, but you know,
Hey,
the fact
they produced Tim Couch. Come on. I mean,
that's what they produced. Yeah, you know, a defensive tackle like Christian Barmore out of Alabama.
yeah, I like him.
He came on strong at the end of his collegiate career, and there aren't many defensive tackles in the draft who are of any quality.
No.
And so people are suggesting maybe the Browns can grab him at number 26 if they cannot find a free agent defensive tackle. These are another defensive end out of Penn State is Jason Owe, and his pro day, a 4.36 40-second dash. A 40-yard dash. This is a guy
That kind of sounds like a Billy Ocean lyric.
What?
Away.
Away.
Away, away.
Away, 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 away.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a football chant for Mr. Moohead. There's only one Mr. Moohead. One Mr. Moohead. There's only one Mr. Moohead. One Mr. Moohead. There's only one Mr.
You
Moohead.
are tired, aren't you?
One Mr. Moohead. There's
Well,
only
he is living
one
in a
Mr.
pub. I'm sure they left
Moohead.
something good behind.
Exactly.
Stop.
Make it stop.
All right.
Hey, I haven't been on this
Joe-
show for months, man. It's about time I cut loose.
Yeah. Defensive
Well,
end
maybe
Joe
not totally cut
Tryon
loose.
out of Washington. All right. Tryon is a guy who
Try
they,
on.
yeah,
You have to go in the dressing room with him.
you got to keep on trying.
Try
They say he's not really close to his ceiling.
He's extra dry.
He's not really close.
Yeah. So these are the names that are jumping out because of these pro day kind of thing.
Have we seen anything with the Tulsa guy that Mary Kay Cabbage had really?
Well, what I'm seeing about him, and this will tell you what you need to know. Yeah, first of all, he did speak to the press, is aware of the Cleveland Browns, and said that he thinks
That's good.
that he knows that Myles Garrett was is a really great athletic defensive end, and that if he were in Cleveland, that quarterbacks would have a problem. But that's all generic. He's not going to be there at 26. And honestly, I've been really studying what happens to teams who move up double digits. And there is not an example of a team moving up double digits without getting rid of a number one pick to do it. And so a first round pick. So, and even to make move 6 to 7 up is going to definitively cost you a pick from one of your top picks from this year and next year. So better be careful.
How do we feel about that? Like giving up next year's first round pick and this year's and moving up.
Going in all in on it, going all Sonny Weaver Jr. on it, kind of like the 49ers did.
Yeah, Zaven Collins is the guy you're talking about out of Tulsa, but in so many of the mocks that I'm looking at, the Steelers are going to eat him up at 24. And, this is where things become a real pain in the ass, because if this guy goes to the Steelers and they have their next great linebacker,
that would suck so
you're going to
badly.
be fucking cursing. You're going to be like, no. And that,
No, make it stop. I mean, how many years do we have to watch Pittsburgh linebackers cheap shotting our players? 50 years in a row now?
but if David Collins lasts till 24th, which is where the Steelers pick, then maybe something else is wrong because, you know, I've seen it so many times, though, that the right guy falls into the Steelers' lap. I've seen
Quite
it.
frankly, the Steelers should draft a fucking quarterback. I mean, that's what they should do. But because if they're gonna troll out Big Ben this year, he's gonna be dead by October.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna get no
They
quarterback.
got
at
Dwayne
24.
Haskins. What do they need?
Yeah,
Dwayne
they
Haskins,
don't.
huh?
Yeah, they got nothing. They got a lot of nothing, and they have a running game that is bogged down. They have an offensive line that's gotten old or just decided to say, I'm hanging it up.
I mean, Doug Deacon could make that offensive line. You know, that's how
the
old they
Steelers
are.
at 24 don't have leverage, is what it amounts to. And if Zaven Collins makes it to 24, you know, if the Browns went up and decided that they wanted to swap with the Jets at 23 just to get ahead of the Steelers, that might
don't
be.
the Steelers have 3 holes on the offensive line?
Yeah, the Steelers obviously.
Assholes.
Pouncey's gone, and
Villanueva
Villanueva, and
What's
and
the
the other
kicker?
guard.
well, I'm not sure the other guard. They had injury problems at the position, and I don't know what the status is of the health of the third offensive lineman you're referencing. What I do know is that the Steelers did what they could to keep Juju around, and it's a small thing in the great scheme of things when you're dealing with an old quarterback and an offensive line that won't be a gelled product, and you need a running back, and the running backs they currently have will get smothered in the backfield because they're not really good running backs. To see the Steelers at 24 in the first round, they have no leverage to move up. What are they going to give up? I mean, they can't give up anything in the future because you're damn straight. They got to get a quarterback, next year.
Yeah.
And so, the Steelers are at 24. If Zaven Collins is still on the board, you really believe in him, and he's coming down, you make the deal with the Jets. You swap with the Jets. And
and if they were going to tank for a quarterback, they picked 2022 is not going to be the year to do it.
Well,
the quarterback crop is not strong. No.
Yeah, and believe me, it puts you into, when you have a quarterback that's played as long as Roethlisberger has, it puts you into a position where there's going to be some growing pains. The Jets are looking at a defensive end like Jalen Phillips, who might very well still be on the board at 26 if they swap with the Browns. That's always a possibility. Other people.
Well, then they're going to try and win games 9-3.
Yeah,
hey, a W is a W. Look with a weird ass offense that they have in Baltimore. They've done a lot of those kind of games where they haven't scored very much.
But, the common wisdom right now is that the Browns are going to take a defensive end. We've already talked about, some of the names. These are the names that come up, and Rousseau and other people are saying, no, they're going to take Jason away or
away.
And then there's the cornerback situation with J.C. Horn out of South Carolina, that nobody in their right mind could believe that J.C. Horn, who is the top cornerback, is going to be there at number 26.
Not in today's league, no.
No, that's just it. I mean, it's such a pass-forward league that you're not going to see that happen. But but again, J.C. Horn is a person you might move up for if you really want to become locked down in the secondary. And to be honest with you,
wow,
I would love to see the ability of our team to shut down a passing game. I honest to God, I started becoming an interior designer watching the Browns because I've seen such large cushions in the secondary. Honestly,
Wow.
I just
Wow,
That was a long way to go for that one.
yeah, but seriously,
quarantine is affecting us all. So
yeah, it's upsetting to see guys playing 7 yards off the ball.
yeah.
How upsetting is it?
Well, I mean, it's so bad that
How bad is it?
we lost Jabril Peppers on the radar. That's how.
Oh
far
yeah,
he
he was off the GPS system. Even Google Maps couldn't find him.
I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't sure whether he was playing for the Browns or the Bears. He was somewhere in between the two teams. I don't, But
I mean,
again,
it's going to be with all the stuff they've brought in and the hopefully the health of Delpit and Williams. I mean, it could really turn from a weakness to a great strength. I mean, good grief.
Yeah.
I mean,
JJ
JJ3 and Horn. I mean, those two guys alone are going to make a big difference. It's just, but you can never have enough. It's kind of like D linemen. You just can't have enough.
They're bullpen guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of the things that are, I guess, comical to me. All right.
How funny are they?
They're funny in a good way, kind of like, doing helium voices. The Browns have been bad for so long that you take a look at the guys who have left Cleveland, the free agent who signed elsewhere. Listen to this when you put them all together in a nice, tidy list.
Oh, God. This is going to be awful.
Larry Ogunjobi went to the Bengals. All right?
Pray for him.
Terrence Mitchell went to the Texans. Can you imagine a worse destination?
I mean, why are they like the backup Browns? How many ex-Browns do they have on that team? And haven't they learned their lesson yet?
But listen to this. So Terrence Mitchell, quarterback to the Texans. Tavier Thomas, remember he was the other cornerback in Cleveland?
Yeah, Tavier, great name.
He's with the Texans. Get this. This is crazy. I sound like Christopher Walken. It's crazy. The cornerback, Kevin Johnson, he's with the Titans. And Kendall Lamb with the Titans. Then defensive tackle Vincent Taylor, the Texans. Linebacker Tay Davis, the Texans. I mean, it's like, oh my God, they've become the Texans.
The Cleveland Browns South.
Yeah, they've become the refuse heap of the Cleveland Browns. That's what
Jesus.
we are. Don't take away our identity. I mean, seriously.
Johnson goes, I thought I fucking lost all you guys.
Kind of like the way the Indians were to the Yankees back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anybody that was crap went to the Cleveland, and anybody that was quality went to the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees optioned players to Cleveland.
The St. Louis Browns was another of those teams back in the day in baseball who couldn't afford to put a team on the field hardly, and they would just sell off everybody they had.
But you cannot tell me that Larry Ogunjobi, who needs to get paid because he's a professional football player, is even thinking about winning in Cincinnati, that all the guys who signed with the Texans are hanging by a thread, stay in the league, right?
Well, you notice that Larry only signed a 1-year deal.
Well, a lot of these guys did, Brian, because the cap. I mean, that's the thing. The cap basically went down this year, and they expect it to go up next year. But that's why there's so many 1-year deals out there.
The Texans' expectations, it's all very descriptive here. I mean, they're not going to be very good. They know they're not going to be very good. They're getting a bunch of not very good players. And it's no rap against Terrence Mitchell, who I thought did a pretty nice job for the Browns, seeing as how he was asked to do way more than what most people
he's capable of. Yeah,
and that most people would have thought was sane. But nobody saw the injury problem that we were going to have. Tay Davis and Vincent Taylor. I don't know that the Texans are just reaching for, and the thing that makes me feel good is like, well, maybe we'll get some marginal players from a good team. It's like, yes, we're a good team now. And it's just sinking in, you see. It makes me feel really good.
Now, if we can do it again, It'd be a winning streak.
Wow, could you imagine having 2 winning records in a row?
Back-to-back years?
Back-to-back winning records in a row. I can't remember back that far.
And here's
Like 94,
Well,
maybe?
the players who have remained free agents who haven't signed. BJ Goodson is still out there, and I thought he did a nice job for Cleveland.
Yeah.
He did.
Olivier Vernon, who nobody will touch, with a 10-foot pole. Carl Joseph, the safety. Andrew Sendejo, who's by bio. And wide receiver Taywan Taylor. And wide receiver Marvin Hall. These players, no more. I mean, so what have we lost? Absolutely nothing. Said.
War. Good God, y'all.
I'm Edwin Starred, every one of you.
Yeah.
So now it's like, should we trade up for J.C. Horn? And it's like, oh boy, here we go again.
Let's trade up for Trevor Lawrence. Fuck it. We need a backup quarterback.
I mean, he's going to be gone by 15. By 15, okay? He's going to be off the board, all right? And Caleb Farley, who is the other cornerback who was getting attention out of Virginia Tech.
And the brother of Chris Farley.
Yeah, and that's why he has a back injury. I threw out my freaking back. Dealing with a back injury is not real good when it's time to get drafted. So,
well, we warned him about being a pallbearer.
So if you want a cornerback, that's your guy. And I don't know. J.C. Horn is a guy who a lot of teams are going to go after. So the Browns are not going to, are not going to be playing on that sandbox. A lot of people questioning Cody Parkey still being on the team, but we'll never know because Parkey he'll break your heart on the most important kick.
I love Parkey.
I'm glad you do. I have no confidence in him whatsoever.
He's the Ubaldo Jimenez of the Cleveland Browns.
Not a bad comparison.
He is the Ubaldo of the Cleveland Browns.
Wrong way, Parkey. Yeah. I mean, he was 10 of 11 on field goals from 40 plus, but it's the extra points really kind of add up,
Ubaldo looked great for 4 innings, and then would give up that 7th spot in the 5th inning.
Well, that weird windup of his, man. I don't even. What I mean, God only knows if he lost his release point. That was the end of that. The good news: Chris Hubbard seems to be recovering from knee surgery, and Chris Hubbard was one of those guys when he was a starter that you said this guy's not a starter, but he's not a bad jack of all trades. And it's the fact that Kendall Lamb has gone on to do great things in Texas. I think that Chris Hubbard becomes an important person for the Cleveland Browns in case they have, offensive line problems. And he proved in his time last year that he is more than capable of being a solid backup. And that's really good. We also have a fella named Greg Senat, who he was the practice squad player for the final 10 games of last season. And they're feeling that he has physical attributes, that works very hard, and that Senat and Hubbard are the guys who are the backups potentially for Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin. And there's no reason to believe that Conklin won't be hurt at some time this year based upon histories. No, just based upon
don't say that.
I'm not wishing it.
I'll start crying if you say that.
When you start crying, I'm going to cry.
I'm going to cry.
But then you have the tackles in the draft. And obviously we're talking day 2, kind of guys. Dylan Radins from North Dakota State. Liam Eichenberg.
He sounds like a white guy, doesn't he? Dylan from North Dakota State.
Liam Eichenberg from the University of Tel Aviv. No, he's from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, I believe. Yeah.
Samuel Cosme from Texas.
Cosby. Wow.
No, me.
Lock up your daughters.
Yeah. Alex Leatherwood from Alabama, automatically because he went to Alabama. Spencer Brown, didn't he have a group and didn't?
Yeah. Steve Winwood was with them.
Yeah, Steve Winwood was the lead singer. and Jackson Carmen, didn't he sing "Doctor My Eyes"?
And The Pretender and
so you can always pick up project tackles and
Project Donkeys.
Yeah,
frogs.
No, we have a good line coach now, and that makes a big difference, and that can help you out.
It's like having a good pitching
coaching matters.
No, it really does. It was really funny without making anybody. If you're eating during the course of the program, I can't help but think about Stephen.
What Stephen Rose? What's he up to?
Oh my god! The 7 hour.
Oh, you guys are laughing, and you haven't even said anything.
7 hour,
That's disturbing.
13-minute broadcast. He did a 7 hour, 13-minute YouTube broadcast without.
That boy needs to. He needs to get out more.
Well, there was one show where he stopped prematurely. Steven, it's your shit yourself.
What? What, he actually wet farted on the air, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. But the best part is what do you have to talk about? I could imagine Moohead Radio 7 hours later, and I'm not wishing that on anybody, okay? But I mean,
you're too smart for that.
Making
that the content barely stretches for an hour. We all know that. We all know that. Sometimes it stretches for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, but 7 hours and 13 minutes. By the time he was done, he was talking about eating ass and having his ass eaten. I'm not making this up. And
Really?
I could not. I went to the grocery store today.
I have no interest in following this. I'm not going to go on my YouTube and waste 4G.
Oh, we all have to do this now, of course. But I'm thinking about the DJ with the Inagata de Vida. Hey, let's check back in on Inagata de Vida. All right, we'll be right back to that in a little while.
On the Jerry Todd Show. The Jerry Todd Show.
Hey, how's Dwayne Stats doing? Do you see him anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Baseball season started.
Yeah, another baseball season coming up right here in the state of Florida. They got a cool breeze coming down. It's going to be down to 44 degrees tonight. Wow. I'm Dwayne Stats, and you like me.
I like Dwayne Stats. He's awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah. But we're having, my father and his wife for, Easter dinner.
But you killed the guy. It's all your fault.
I was say most people have ham or a turkey. No, but you're gonna have your father and
you're inviting them
over. You're not actually eating.
You're not eating them.
We were just here about eating ass, and I'm just thinking.
Jewish people when they celebrate Easter, it's like, let's do it again. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I dare you. No.
Have a nice brisket and
a little brisket, then we'll put him on the cross and we'll throw some rocks at him. Not good.
Crown thorns.
But anyway, we're going through the and Roxanne looks at me and says, potatoes and how about corn? And I'm going,
yeah.
The whole eating out Steven's ass.
What about peanuts?
Tony. By the way, Tony and I have nicknamed his broadcast Blobfish TV. If you don't know what a blobfish is, go look it up.
I hated that picture, whatever the hell it is.
That's a blobfish.
I'm sorry, children, for the not safe for work content of today's show.
Does anybody know who on this panel who Jeff Howard is?
Jeff Howard. Is this a trick question?
Jeff Howard. No.
No.
This is a real honest guy.
I know Bo Howard.
He's the Browns defensive backs coach.
Yeah. They did an interview with him.
Yeah, that guy.
DVD.
Yeah, I know.
Well, because they kept calling him Jeff, so I don't know.
No, he kept standing 70 yards away in the interview, and they couldn't hear him.
Couldn't fucking hear him.
No,
my guess is the poor guy is like just mentally not there, having to had a whole season of Andrew Sandejo. So I'm sure he's like on the edge right now.
Yeah, now that he's got John Johnson and Troy Hill.
Yeah, he probably did a line of
coke. Yeah, and here's what Howard had to say. He said, "I have a very little penis." Oh, wrong, Howard.
How about Howard the dog?
In an interview
wrong, Howard, director extraordinaire.
Ron Howard.
Perhaps
he was talking to Cleveland Browns Daily. I'm excited to work with these new guys. There's so many variations that you could do that allows the play caller to come up with a multitude of schemes and personnel groupings. Isn't that nice to hear? Because basically what he was saying in the interview is that, man, we didn't have a whole hell of a lot to work with last year. And
they didn't have a whole hell of a lot of bodies to work with last year.
That's just it. I mean, there just was no continuity. They couldn't put the same bodies on the field at the same time. So
everybody was dead.
Yeah, I mean, but it is exciting
really.
In the sense that we got rid of these guys and we got new guys coming in, but we're going to have enough bodies, I think, by the time we get through all this, that even if we have some injuries, and I think it's inevitable, when you have cornerbacks who are running 4.3, 4.4 40s early in the year, pulling a hamstring is like almost like a certainty, So, yeah. But again, it's all hopeful stuff, folks. I mean, the fact that we'll be able to play multiple, concepts out on the field. I mean, last year we had to be as close to plain vanilla as any team. I mean, it was like back on your heels. Don't let anything get behind you, Mr. Sandejo. And, tackle the man who's in front of you once he catches the ball. Here, you're going to be able to change looks and do all kinds of things that real football teams do. And that's exciting. So, this is a good time. And if you can imagine, if Delpit amounts to anything, all right, and if Greedy Williams amounts to not necessarily being a starter, but being kind of a nickel or dime guy, you could still have a really great situation compared to last year where you had no situation at all. So it's all good news. I mean, I got nothing bad to say. On the other hand, I wanted to ask the people on the panel. And
ask away. I can't guarantee an answer, though.
Yeah, I think that you should. With all the good news coming out of the football side of things, what in the hell is worse, watching the Cavaliers or the Indians? For God's sakes, this is like fucking brutal. It's like fucking brutal.
You remember last time I was on the show, I ranted about how I wasn't going to update my MLB TV MLB audio.
Oh, you did.
It updated the day before. I went in to go in and cancel. I said, fuck it. But I didn't listen to a single preseason game. I got the 4G, bang 4G that sees all my stubble live and in crystal color going out last night. Had the Detroit game on, and obviously missed the runs in the first couple innings, and listened to that shite for 2 hours.
One swing of the bat by an old man, and the game was over. The Cleveland Indians have no offense. They got no players whatsoever.
Eddie Rosario hitting cleanup. I mean, this guy's like an 8-9 hitter.
He was swinging, lunging at the ball off his front foot because, he was waiting for a fastball that never came. And Boyd looked like Steve Carlton on the mound coming at him. And the team has very little capacity. I thought
that was Hiram Boyd. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, it,
Might as well have been
Booby.
oil can Boyd.
in Booby we trust.
Wish we had
Oh.
Ken Boyd.
I wish
We
we
suck.
had anything
We
on
are
the field.
awful.
Really bad, and it's always just enough to lose too. It's 3-0 the whole game, and then all of a sudden Roberto Perez comes up, hits a 2-run homer, and then the
Yeah,
next guy walks, and it's like, oh, this could be it. This could be the big
Yeah,
walk.
I heard that bit. Yeah.
It's a damn good thing it's not nickel dime a beer night or whatever, nickel beer night, because otherwise they'd have a party.
Just enough to lose, just enough to fucking lose.
So
Hey, believe it or not, what do they call Jacobs Field now?
Progressive.
Field.
It's
Insurance
now
company park.
it's the cheapest stadium in the entire league to get a beer.
Well, that's awesome.
At $5 a beer. The most expensive is, of course, Fenway Park at $8.50.
Last time I went down to Cincinnati, a lot of their prices are relatively inexpensive for stuff. Although they charge you like full price for Hue to pull, so what the hell? But
It's happy.
Wow, I haven't heard that for a while.
You remember the Hue to Pull jingle? When I was in college, Hue to Pull was really big beer down around the Cincinnati area. I went to Miami.
It
Ohio.
is.
Yeah, it's happy Hootie time. It's happy Hootie.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Let's have a
Hootie Light.
birthday with golden 14K. I mean, I don't know what in the hell they were talking about, but it was piss. It tasted like urine.
Back when I was in
Was it worse than
Christian
Schlitz?
Moorline. Remember they introduced Christian Moorline and brought it in as a big, oh, this is going to be, this fancy thing, Christian Moorline, and it was pretty much no different than anything else. Yeah.
I'll tell you the worst.
more like Cuyahoga Shoreline.
The worst beer was a beer
How
called
bad is it?
Goebel.
Oh, I drank many
we had
golden Joie Bells. Yes, we had that often.
We had that.
Oh no.
We had
the worst were Tech out of Pittsburgh. It was for Carnegie Tech and Old Dutch and Old German. Those you could actually get an entire case of beer for like $4.50. We're talking 24 returnable bottles. In fact, Bronco, remember, we actually had my dorm room had a bar built out of returnable cases of beer. So yeah, it was classic.
I will remember that.
That stuff was really bad.
I mean, that's the stuff you drink. That's stuff you drink, and then you get a job. It's like you're unemployed and you drink this, and then you get a job and you drink something else, anything else.
In the Indians, whenever anybody was in scoring position for the Indians, they immediately look dead red. They get an off-speed pitch, they lunge, throw their bat at it, and pop it up. Happened to Ramirez in an important part of the game. It also happened to, I forget who the other guy was. What's it matter? Any of the left bats we have are feeble. The team is bad. And
Shelly Duncan is playing center field, isn't he? I mean, like, who are these center fielders? And they got him leading off. I mean we need Manny Acta back.
The third run that they scored, it was all about not Ahmed Rosario, but Eddie Rosario in left field. Eddie Rosario picked up a ball, and he was allegedly trying to hit his cutoff man, and I don't know what he hit. He hit Pete Franklin's gravestone. I don't know what he was aiming for. And
in Monument City, Pete Franklin in dead center field, Monument City.
Degrees outside, and that guy motored all the way around the bases on a double from first base. And
crazy.
And the Indians still had a play at the plate, even though he threw it away. But then the throw that was thrown to home plate was nowhere near the catcher. And so that was the end of that. That was the third run, which turned out to be the game winner. And,
just a bit outside.
Defensively, we got nothing. And to watch this, it's horrible.
We're going to have to reanimate fucking Bob Uecker just to do the play-by-play for the
Tom Hamilton already sounded jaded. It's only the 1st of April.
There you go, Rick.
Oh boy.
99 cents. Wow.
Yeah.
Gobles, yeah, that was
Goble, actually, I
nasty.
saw a Goblin, and I'm not making this up. I saw one in a vending machine, and that was the end of that. It was like,
And the
"How did
Diet
that get in
Coke cost
there?"
more. Yeah.
There was actually like a discount store here in Columbus. It had like your dad's beers, and they had like burger and PBR and although you can get PBR at a thing, but they had like Black Label, Carling's Black Label, another Cleveland beer, Schmidt's of Philadelphia and Cleveland. They had a whole bunch of those things where you could actually pick up these beers, and it was like your dad's beer section or whatever.
What about Old Milwaukee? Do they still make that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Although Natty Light has kind of taken the mantle of the cheap ass beer stuff. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, the
here's-
other one that I remember from the 70s was Olympia.
oh yeah, but see,
My dad
that's-
cut the tin cans in half and made a fishing hat out of Olympia fucking beer.
there you go, with the crochet in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was classic, man. Little the little bucket hat or whatever.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
exactly.
what the hell was that?
That's my dog. He's upset about the whole drinking Olympia beer. That's what it is.
I guess. Here's a thing that really bothers me. You know, whenever they do,
How
and
much does
NBA
it bother
on TNT, the NBA on TNT, and they do their little marketing, and it shows the same four players for every promo that they do. You know, there's LeBron, there's KD.
Who is LeBron these days? I never hear about him. What's he doing? What's
Oh,
he
he's
up to?
hurt. He's hurt right
yeah,
now.
he's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not playing.
Yeah, he twisted an high ankle sprain. He's out for quite a while.
Oh no,
Um,
not the dreaded Liz Anne Frank injury. You have to
Yeah.
hide in the attic for
Yeah,
3
he has
months.
to be up in the attic for a long time. Yeah.
Stay up in the attic.
The Arizona Wildcats are in the women's Final Four, but not in the promotional video. It's amazing. To me, it's like you got South Carolina, Stanford, and UConn, and in the video that promotes the tournament for the Final Four in the sport, those teams are represented, but no one from Arizona was in the video.
Well, it's just as well, really, considering the people who live there.
Well, I mean, it's like an afterthought. It's like, well, we can't really take them seriously now. I mean, you know, it's
Absolutely.
UConn, and Stanford. South Carolina, I don't even know what the hell that's all about.
Is Oriema still coaching the women's
Yes.
team?
Yeah.
Well, then that explains it. He's
Yeah.
won like fucking 87 titles now. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, but again, Stanford traditionally has a huge program. UConn does. South Carolina, I don't know much about, but Arizona, nothing. And to make it to the Final Four and to be snubbed that way, I hope they come out and kick somebody's ass big time. That would be real nice.
That's okay. The payback will come in softball.
And talk about big time coaches, Roy Williams has retired. So he gone after what, 33 years? I think they said that he'd been at, you know, the Carolina coach.
Well,
and
Kansas and then
coach.
Carolina.
Right, Kansas first. He's retiring. So that time has come and gone. So you give him his credit where it's due. Then you have one of those great names from the NBA, Kevin Durant, getting into a rather ugly spat with.
How ugly was it?
Well, I mean, the things that were said, you know, and again, it's in writing. It's not something you can deny. You know, him telling somebody they're a dick sucker and all this is kind of a lot of homophobic talk.
It's probably
pasty
true.
skin dick sucker.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, not
Michael
real
Rappaport, the actor
And
slash
comedian.
whatever.
comedian, yeah. And you know, look, and Kevin Durant has to be smart enough to know that he can't get entangled in this kind of stupidity if somebody's trying to gaslight him. But the thing is that I lost so much respect for Kevin Durant after he went to Golden State that we wonder who the real Kevin Durant really is. And this doesn't help. Not at all. And when you overreact to something like that and start making, and from what I understand, there were comments that were made that were even worse than.
Well, now the thing with these text messages is they go back quite a ways. This is not something new. This has been kind of their ongoing deal. So, and now Rappaport's trying to drag him into this defamation thing against Barstool Sports or whatever.
Gosh, I
wish they would both fucking, take a flying leap into the East River.
We've had another basic crazy lunatic try to go into the nation's capital. We have much bigger fish to fry than whose feelings get hurt on social media. But Kevin Durant's got to know better than this. And with the hype he gets from the NBA, you got to keep your nose clean. And not a real great situation for him. It's a kind of an embarrassment,
The other big sports news was, did you see the perpetual contract in perpetuity for Bill Self?
Yeah, Bill Self,
until he's dead or whatever, they're just going to keep adding a year to his contract or whatever. Even with all the horrible things, the NCAA violations he's had, they don't have any problem. They'll just keep on paying him. It's like, let's just keep going.
Yeah, perpetuity. And, when they think about them, they touch Bill Self. They touch Bill Self. They honestly do.
And they're turning Japanese at the same time.
The Divinals.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it Bobby Bonilla Day today or the other day?
Was it really? I missed it. What a fucking thing.
You got paid again for another $1 million or whatever again?
Yeah, it's got to be like 1st of April or something, isn't it? I have to look it up. Bobby Bonilla Day. It's like a national holiday.
Well, the Washington Nationals now have 4 players positive for COVID-19. Their series versus the Mets postponed. That's the first of the new baseball season. Get used to it as we have more on its way. And, here we go again. And, I don't know. I don't even want to fucking talk about it anymore. But the bottom line is that, people want to put a bunch of fans in the stands. You go right ahead. I'm all for it. At this point, let them all get what they're going to get.
Well, it won't be a problem in Cleveland, so there won't be enough fans.
No, there ain't nobody there.
Anyway, so it will be an issue.
They were talking about the Marlins were going to be able to have 2/3 their capacity or half their capacity, and somebody's like, that's going to take half a season for them to get that many people in there. So,
and I'd like to say the good things happen to good people,
They don't.
Well, Cleveland native and 2-time Pro Bowler LaCharles Bentley has been named senior.
Your hero.
Has been named senior advisor of player performance and development for the NFL, the league announced today. Bentley will advise NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent Sr. on player performance and the development of resources, enhancements, metrics, and best practices designed to enhance the game. He'll also work with NFL youth and high school football to grow the sport. Well, what I have to say is this. They could have hired somebody who has class and dignity. LaCharles Bentley will be nothing but a bum in my mind for the way he personally treated me, and I will never forget nor forgive because he thought he was fucking somebody. He really believed that he was such a big fucking deal that he was going to go into the world of podcasting not knowing what he was doing. He asked for assistance. I responded. And he says, who in the fuck are you? Without even checking what my credentials were as far as broadcasting was concerned. And I don't mean as an on-air personality, folks. I mean just having put radio stations on the air. We know about audio chains. We know about what would make things sound a little bit better. And back then, it was a lot harder to sound better than it is now. Yeah. With bandwidth being a little bit sparse in those days. But that's the shit I took from him. And so I hear this story, and you know something? I hope you lose your job real soon, LaCharles.
Yeah, let's all do a big fuck you to Charles.
Yeah, nobody. You were, the fact that I was this and I was, it's like become a human being today. Then you become somebody.
Sounds a lot like Tom Chambers, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a shame when people are like that. I got one more story that I really feel compelled. This is
more content. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I'm lying down. You better tell me I'm lying down.
Barry Maguire, what was his big hit? Can anybody name that?
Eve of Destruction.
That's very good, Bronk. How you know it's the eve of destruction? When you're an NFL coach, it's like when you've been threatened by ownership that
or you get that like vote of confidence. We have a vote of confidence in you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been privately told you're on a short leash. The thing that every one of them do is they immediately stop delegating and they start saying, well, I'm going to do everything myself, right? Well, Chicago Bears head coach Matt Nagy is returning to calling plays on offense.
Oh, that'll work out well.
Oh, yeah. The Bears fans are just so thrilled about what's going on in Chicago. The former
can I do something? Fuck the Bears fans. This is like, fuck them.
He's going to take on the play calling duties after giving those responsibilities to offensive coordinator Bill Lazor for a time last season. I'm going to fuck Bill over, Matt said, and just sit him back down on his ass, and he's going to have a zipper on his mouth, and I'm going to be the one calling the plays this year. And so I know me, Nagy said on a Zoom call. It never fails. They all, and you know what was amazing? You got that idiot, Hugh Jackson, the biggest idiot of all.
Oh, God. He's terrific.
He took the job, he stopped delegating. The second he took the job, he had to do everything. And it's like, this guy already knows he's going to get fired. And 336-1 later, it all came to pass. But we had to bleed. We're the ones who had to bleed while he got paid.
It was everyone else's fault, though, wasn't it?
Oh, my God.
It was. It was our fault. It was our fault.
The fans' fault. It was
our fault.
The front office fault. It was, yeah. I mean, granted, he had to start Deshaun Kaiser. Right? You give him a little credit for losing some games there. I mean, I could lose games starting Deshaun Kaiser.
I mean, they're asking him now because he's got a book coming out. All right. And this is really how you know it's the end of the road, because he's to the point where he's going to write a book and say, fuck the Browns, fuck the NFL, because he knows he's never going to get hired again. He literally knows
the end.
Can you imagine the book signing?
Yeah.
I'd like to see a dual book signing between him and Terry Pluto to jerk off on Hugh Jackson.
I mean, can you imagine the book signing for Hugh Jackson? Would anybody show up? Would there be anybody actually there waiting for him to sign?
This guy has burned more bridges than
it would devalue the value of the book if he signed it.
I just, to me, it's amazing. I look at the guy and say he's just left a path of destruction behind him everywhere he's
Barry
gone.
Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. And so you know that it's over. You know it's over for him in the NFL, and he doesn't give a flying fuck. He's going to try to take somebody with him. But the thing that was so funny of what he said, he had to try to make people understand why he was so high on Cody Kessler as a quarterback. No, I mean,
still alive.
In that question, it's like, in preparation for this book, we know what you're going to be saying about the Cleveland Browns, but here's a direct quote from you about what great upside and what a tremendous guy Cody Kessler is going to be for the Cleveland Browns. What about that? And his response was remarkable. It was, well, that was thrust on me by the analytics guy, and that's why he's going to keep saying for the rest of his life. Well, why did you say something good? Because I didn't want to say something bad about him. But I mean, you never had a problem saying bad about players throughout
when he was coaching.
You know what he said his biggest mistake was?
Was born?
No. That would be too easy. Yeah, easy. The biggest mistake he said was that his hiring of the offensive coordinator, the guy from Pittsburgh, help me with his name.
The one,
Todd
only Todd
Haley.
Yeah.
God Haley. Now, you want to know how the definition of incomplete? Incomplete is Todd Haley knew how to put together a professional offensive playbook. He just didn't know which plays to choose. And the thing that's amazing about it is a guy who was an illiterate bum who lived in a manufactured home, who kind of talked like this. Remember Freddie Kitchens? He knew which plays to pick better than the architect of the book. And it makes your head spin. But that's what Hugh Jackson said, that accepting Todd Haley as his offensive coordinator was the biggest mistake he ever made. So the Haley family is not going to be buying the book, and I guarantee that Freddie isn't going to be buying the book. He couldn't read it anyway, so what difference would it make?
So how did Terry Pluto write this for him, or how is old Terry these days?
Terry's doing well, still writing for the Plain Dealer or Cleveland.com. He has
Is he
articles every day.
Is he behind the paywall?
You know what? I think you can I get a thing. I'll forward it to you. I'll send you this thing. I'll whatever. But there's certain things that are in front of the paywall that you can actually read.
Yeah, well, the paywall thing is it's really should be more like a contraceptive dam when you're talking about Terry Pluto.
So you mean that means that there's articles that are actually sponge-worthy? Is that what you're saying?
I'm in bed here.
The picture of Mary Kay Cabbagehead sitting in a snowstorm with her laptop is like, oh, comic relief. How wonderful.
What? Now, why is it that Mary Kay always picks one dude every draft season that she like hypes up? Is that like her style of getting through draft season?
One of them, so that's all she's going to talk about.
She only interviews one of them, and that's it. And that's the only guy she's going to... Because she does that every fucking year, doesn't she?
If
you're listening, Mary Kay.
The hard workers, and it's unfortunate.
Oh, she works less than Hoinsey.
Hey, Hoinsey. So you think the Indians are going to be any good this year?
Hey, the good news is they're not playing today. They got the day off.
Yeah, here's another crazy thing. So today is day 2 of the MLB season, right? There was one day baseball game in April today, and it's only because yesterday it was rained out. What is up with that? Seriously, that's just dumb. I mean, it's freaking freezing out here today.
No, the coronavirus spreads easier in cold weather.
Exactly. I mean, that's fine for Florida because they're all going to kill each other down there.
Well,
sorry about that, Moo.
But that's what Anthony Fauci said back a couple months ago. And then before that, he said the weather wasn't that big of a factor. And before that, the whole thing just gets to a point where I want to bang my head against the wall. And
the eye of Bronk. The eye of Bronk is looking at you.
That is really Cyclops.
That's better than the ear hair of Bronk.
Oh, I got some of that too. You want to see that? I got plenty of ear hair.
That's okay. We got enough of that today.
Nose hair.
We're all full here.
Yeah, we got nose hairs.
Let me ask you something, Bronk.
Yeah.
What's with the Ed Grimley hair thing?
I'm in bed and it's freaking lockdown, and my wife tried to cut my hair and failed miserably about a month ago.
I must say that looks good.
Look at that. It's like a little fuzzy bit up there.
Hey, speaking of hair, was the Michigan UCLA, was that like the all hair game of all time? We had basically 2 guys wearing some Series 70s hairdos. I loved it. It was freaking awesome. I was like, I'm like, people were making fun. I go, no, man, this is freaking awesome. These guys have some great, we had so many people there in the 90s or whatever, the shaved down heads and little things carved into them and stuff like that. This is for people got hair now again. This is cool. And if you don't have hair, if you don't have hair, you just shave it off completely and go bald, and that's cool too. You know, it's a great time for hair in college basketball.
I got to tell you this: Amsterdam caps off the show. You know, every time I think that as a society we are getting more and more ignorant, somebody brings up the Flowbee. Yeah, let's put a vacuum cleaner on our heads. Yeah, get some of the hair out. You know, it's like,
what about the suck cut? It sucks as it cuts. Well, it certainly does suck.
Well, I got to get out of here because I got the rest of the.
Well,
evening.
you got things to do. Like, what are you going to do when you get out of here? Let's hear your agenda. What's happening?
Not
my
talking.
Thanks for stopping by,
I got to
Kate.
prepare for tomorrow's tennis match. I got to stretch. I got to do
Tennis. You're playing tennis.
Yeah, tomorrow he's got to start stretching today. Give him a break, okay?
My last time out,
point.
man, was on Wednesday. I played balls to the wall tennis. I was amazed.
Wow.
But most of the time, I have sciatica running down my leg. So, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's good
Nobody likes
considering
that.
where you were at before when you were hurting so bad. So that's awesome.
I'm trying.
Right,
I'm trying to do whatever the hell I can do. Well, everybody.
The dog apparently approves.
Oh,
Yes, my dog does approve. She's actually saw a squirrel or a trash bag or something out there. I don't know what she's barking at.
thanks everybody for tuning in to this edition of Moohead Radio. And we'll be back again on Monday to talk about more things that probably don't matter to you.
Oh, they don't matter to us either. So
Have
whatever.
a pleasant weekend.
Stay away from the ether bunny, okay? Easter bunny,
Ether
good.
bunny.
Ether bunny, bad.
Yeah, ether.
Cadbury bunny up your ass. And until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor. Good night.
Moo.